Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the second part of this mini-series on the evolution of love. Today, I'd like to focus on our relationship to the Mother Earth. And if we take the idea of evolution seriously, we are considering the fact that everything affects everything else. And so not only does the Earth evolve, but also the human being. And I have been trying to speak about the fact that our task, or the task of our solar system, and the task of the Earth is to evolve love. And in many traditions that I've studied or read about, I have found that there's this common denominator about the becoming of the solar system or the cosmos, the becoming of creature, the becoming of the human being, of the Earth. And that is in a certain point of history, the nature of the Earth has changed. At first, we could say that the Earth appears or evolves out of matter through consciousness, forming the different forms of nature and creatures and animals and the human being. And the whole solar system seems to go into a process of expansion. We could say there is a gesture of separation. We could say that it is a gesture of, in a way, loss. As a creature on the Earth, as a human being, part of our inner feeling of existence is that we are separated. We're separated from other, we're separated from the divine. And we talked about last time how the evolving of the human being is to reconnect through love to ever more and more beyond that which has been created through blood and nation, but to find this new community where we love because of a common cause. We're not bound by the family, by the blood, by the nation. We can actually choose to be with people who decide to gather and learn from each other and love each other through a task. That is the evolving community in the self. But the Earth itself also has evolved. There are these times in other traditions where we can hear or see in the mythologies and the stories that there came a time where that which was separated, which became, we could say, the being in the spiritual sun, the essences that come to us through the light, returned to the Earth. And this gave the Earth itself a new gesture. We could almost say it's like a new conception of an embryonic being within the Earth that needs to grow. And this being grows through the cooperation of love. It is, we could call it the Christ being, we could call it the cosmic consciousness, we can call it the spiritual sun, but it is the ability that has been given back to us on Earth to cooperate in evolving the Earth through the action of love. And so the whole direction of the Earth depends upon what we put into it. There's a lot of noetic science and quantum consciousness that talks about we are what we think we are. We are not what we put into ourselves. But if we pay attention to a process in a particular way, it becomes something else. And so how we pay attention to the world around us, to the landscape temples that we live in, to the creatures, to the animals who our task is to be custodians with, that is what they become. If we see the Earth as a resource or a stage just for our own amusement, that is what the Earth will become, and we'll lose something. We could almost say that if we leave the Earth to itself and only relate to it as a resource for ourselves, we put death into the Earth. We kill the Earth and the creatures, and eventually ourselves as a species. And I think many of us stand in front of the news, stand in front of the world events, and have a certain palpitation of the heart that there's a huge part of us that is facing that end. And so it's really a choice. It is a choice to love the Earth, to love the becoming. Because if we unite more and more people in this community who choose to let love live here, this here is our Earth. And how we relate to it, how we speak of the Earth, how we stand in front of the other. In other words, if we can stand in front of the other, be it a human being, be it a tree, a stone, a body of water, the starry skies at night, and we can at first acknowledge an inward gesture the sacred of otherness, that is what it becomes. And so for our earth to evolve as the place where love can become, the faculty that we as this solar system can contribute to the universe in a free and progressive way, we can turn to nature, we can turn to the earth, we can turn to our landscape temples and choose to become custodians, choose to become the ones who see within each creature, which in each ant or earthworm, each noble creature, each tree, each mineral or crystal, the sacred other. And if in prayer and in devotion we turn to that other and give it that sacredness, either in song or dance or just in some form of consciousness, then the earth itself becomes more and more conscious. The earth's evolution of love is to become a conscious being as well. It's not just a planet. It is an organism where every creature, where every part of it is part of its pulsating heart. And our love, our ability to turn to it and to stand in awe and reverence and devotion towards its consciousness is an evolution of this return of the spiritual sun that is now in each human being, the spiritual sun that is the light within the earth. We could say that the earth itself is becoming the blue star in the universe, from which our capacity to evolve love is also our contribution to the becoming of the universe. So over the next few days, the next 10 days, where our theme is the sacred in the earth, maybe we can turn constantly and try to observe where our love of whatever we stand in front of also nourishes and puts a tendency towards the becoming of the earth itself, towards the star of love, the blue star of love, shining out, radiating from our solar system into the cosmos. Thanks for listening.